Few child stars can successfully navigate into adult roles, but Claire Danes may be the exception. Success comes at a price, though, and this star isn't afraid to take the big risks, or to leave a few broken hearts in her wake. Keep watching for all the details. As The Guardian notes, Claire Danes' acting career seemed predestined, even if she was born into what the outlet called a typically artsy and liberal New York family, rather than a showbiz family. The youngster announced her ambitions at the age of just 4, and by 6, she was starring in off-Broadway productions. Noting, frankly, I was very driven to act from a very young age, and my parents were not only tolerant of that drive, but also encouraging. However, Danes clarified that she wasn't pushed to support the family, advising firmly her folks were not stage parents. Although it may seem to outsiders like a wild idea for a 6-year-old to take to the stage purely based on her own self-belief, the Little Women star acknowledged that growing up in New York City exposed her to a lot of culture, and acting for a living was viable. And as the following years proved, indeed it was. My So-Called Life was a huge moment for the teenaged Claire Danes, as well as other up-and-coming cast members, including Jared Leto, who played her dreamy love interest. Looking back on the formative show, Danes told NPR, "I remember just being amazed by the quality of the writing, that somebody out there had been able to articulate what I was going through so perfectly." She added that she felt lucky the show told a story that was, quote, confrontingly honest. Likewise, as the actress acknowledged, it costs more money for a production to hire younger actors rather than grown-ups who can work longer hours and don't have school.
I have to study.
Danes is incredibly proud of the fact that My So-Called Life featured a real high school-aged kid playing a high schooler. The show also provided an opportunity for the actor to reckon with some of her own difficult experiences in school, including being bullied, for which she's equally grateful. Gen Z readers may more readily think of Saoirse Ronan and Florence Pugh when they hear Little Women, but for those of us who came of age in the 90s, our hearts belong to Winona Ryder and Kirsten Dunst. Young Claire Danes also appeared in Gillian Armstrong's 1994 adaptation as Beth, and for the actor, the film was a major moment in time. Danes gushed to the New York Times that the project felt like the beginning for her, not least because it was her very first movie role. The actor was cast after a producer friend of screenwriter Robin Swycord showed her an early cut of My So-Called Life to showcase Danes' talents. Casting director Carrie Fraser shared how it was immediately clear the youngster was the perfect Beth, admitting she cried because Danes' audition was so moving. As Entertainment Tonight notes, Claire Danes wasn't the original choice for Juliet in Baz Luhrmann's beloved modern Shakespearean adaptation, Romeo and Juliet. She took over the role after fellow child actor Natalie Portman dropped out. Thankfully, it was a perfect fit, with co-lead Leonardo DiCaprio revealing during the audition process that everyone else held back and played it demurely, while Danes rose to the occasion and took charge. DiCaprio argued, "We thought that's what Juliet needed to be. She needed to be a different Juliet, and Claire brought that to it." DiCaprio also praised his co-star's ability to bring her emotions to the surface, which he acknowledged helped him get where he needed to be too. According to the actor, she's a ball of emotion, a powerhouse, as I like to put it.
What's in a name? How would we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet?
In a joint interview with Entertainment Weekly, conducted during the shoot in Mexico City, Danes admitted to finding the role of Juliet exhausting because she goes through so many extremes over the course of the film. However, the young actor, cast at just 16 years old, relished the challenge in a move that would characterize the rest of her career. As of early 2022, Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio have yet to reunite on screen, but she did audition to play his secretary in 2011's J. Edgar. Danes decided against it, however. As the actor reasoned to Vogue, "I was like, do I want to play the secretary to the boss man, or do I want to be the boss man?" However, years before, Danes had the opportunity to essentially be Juliet opposite her Romeo again in the world-conquering disaster movie Titanic. During an appearance on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast, Danes shared how she was offered the role that was ultimately played by Kate Winslet. She was only 17, and despite having a small crush on DiCaprio, who also went back and forth on committing to the project, Danes didn't feel it was the best move for her. When Titanic launched its leads into the stratosphere, the My So-Called Life star knew she'd made the right choice. Danes has no regrets about turning it down, clarifying, "I wasn't conflicted. I was feeling eager to have different creative experiences, and that felt like a repeat, and it was going to propel me towards something that I knew I didn't have the resources to cope with." Back in 1997, Claire Danes was at the peak of her fame following the success of My So-Called Life, which wrapped in 1995. However, as the Chicago Tribune notes, at just 18 years old, the actor took inspiration from mentor and friend Jodie Foster, a fellow child star done good, and took time from her career to attend Yale.
I really needed another experience.
Danes, who already had 10 movies under her belt by that stage, admitted at the time, "Some people are skeptical of that choice for me." However, her parents and team were extremely supportive, according to Danes. The Homeland star noted she was a star student prior to dropping out to focus on acting. It was only at the age of 18 that Danes realized how much she'd given up to pursue her dream. As she admitted to NPR, "I chose to stop acting for a time, and I went to college to just give myself a chance to catch up with some of that developmental work and just hang out with kids my own age in a safe place." These days, Claire Danes keeps her relationship with her husband and father of her kids, Hugh Dancy, strictly under wraps. And as it turns out, her reasoning for doing so relates back to another high-profile relationship, which taught the actor a tough lesson about falling in love in the public eye. As a profile in Black Book details, Danes became a tabloid staple when fellow actor Billy Crudup left his then-pregnant partner, Mary Louise Parker, for her. The two met on the set of the 2004 movie Stage Beauty. Looking back on that time in her life, Danes reasoned, "That was a choice I made to fall in love. It's unpleasant to be cast in such an unflattering role, but I just had to remain steadfast. I was living with the same kind of integrity that I had always lived with." Danes pointed out how, as a celebrity, it can be difficult to distance yourself from the opinions of others. Thankfully, the actor is far removed from the situation now and rationalized that criticism comes with the territory of being a famous actor. Naturally, Claire Danes was never one to simply take every role that came her way, even when it meant she didn't ascend to the heights of some of her former co-stars, including Leonardo DiCaprio and Kirsten Dunst. In fact, in an interview with Marie Claire, the actor revealed that there was a 2-year period when she didn't work at all because she was holding out for something truly great. However, even though the Romeo and Juliet star knew it was the right move, not doing what she loved also rendered Danes rudderless. She explained succinctly, "I was in such agony. I had been so stimulated and energized, and I felt really robust and capable and eager. But I couldn't go back to the ingenue role or the limited secretary-type roles. I wanted to play someone who would move the story forward." Funnily enough, the next role Danes took would change her career forever. Homeland is the role that made Claire Danes' career, at least in her adult years, and she chose it precisely because it seemed like something completely outside of her usual purview. The show came following a self-imposed 2-year exile from the industry. Danes told Marie Claire, "My goal is always to do something that feels just beyond my reach, and Homeland continues to do that. Every season they find new ways to scare me."
I'm just trying to do good work.
The actor continued, "The show is like a diamond that fell from the sky. I'll always feel slightly bludgeoned by it, but in the best way possible." Danes won 2 Emmy Awards for her portrayal of tortured protagonist Carrie Matheson and was nominated for 3 more. Per The Hollywood Reporter, the actor confirmed that returning to television wasn't a decision she made lightly, but the role simply wasn't one Danes could turn down. She divulged, "I have not read a character this compelling in a movie script in quite some time." To the actor, Carrie was someone whose undeniable intelligence rendered her increasingly difficult to read, making the complex character endlessly exciting and challenging to play. As Black Book notes, Claire Danes met husband and Hannibal star Hugh Dancy on the set of the 2007 movie Evening. The happy couple tied the knot in 2009 and subsequently welcomed 2 sons. Although Danes admitted to Black Book that marriage wasn't something she envisioned for herself, she said, "I've always wanted to be in a partnership. I've always wanted to have that kind of intimacy and collaborate with someone in such a deep way. She knew they were meant for each other because being with Dancy was so much easier and felt more secure than any relationship the Homeland star had ever been in. Danes explained, "I find it very freeing to know that, okay, it takes constant nurturing and attention, but I can also stop looking for the one. That's established." Dancy, meanwhile, told the Evening Standard he's in awe of his wife's acting abilities, echoing comments made throughout her career. Meanwhile, juggling their demanding jobs comes relatively easily to the two, who prioritize their family above all else. Playing bold, complicated anti-heroine Carrie in Homeland was one of the greatest challenges of Claire Danes' career. The actor told Net-a-Porter, as the show wrapped up in 2020, "I'll miss playing such a brilliant, intrepid, impulsive, flawed hero." The TV star acknowledged she started the show barely married and ended it more than a decade into her relationship with actor Hugh Dancy and with 2 kids. She revealed, "Both our sons learnt to crawl in Morocco, and I have some amusing breast-pumping photos in Moroccan green rooms." Her character Carrie's reluctance to be a mother was a fascinating counterpoint to Danes' real-life experience, but the ambitious actor relished the challenge and even suggested it was a great way to bring more attention to one of the biggest taboos still plaguing women, the desire to not have kids. In 1994, a 15-year-old Claire Danes spoke to ET about her future goals.
"I just want to be a sane person. I want to be a person who has a life and who acts."
Speaking to CBS News in 2020, the actor acknowledged that, while looking back on her impressive career trajectory, she certainly achieved that goal.
Knock wood, I don't want to tempt fate. This has all gone much better than I had ever imagined or hoped, yeah.
On what she still has left to accomplish, Danes told Net-a-Porter, "I would like to play somebody who's a little less of a superhero, somebody in a relationship, someone in a marriage." Considering how far she's come and everything the plucky New Yorker achieved since she was treading the boards at 6 years old, there's no doubting Danes will pull it off and then some. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more list videos about your favorite celebrities are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.